Hey guys, we made a huge mistake.
We kind of forgot to do an intro in the last one, but
Where we started,
I would say I felt like what we were talking about at the beginning was just, I don't know, it just felt too important to interrupt.
so yeah.
You know, who cares though? What is an intro other than a collection of words that means the beginning? But you already know it's the beginning.
Because you press play, and it says zero, whatever
Zero
second.
seconds, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean,
What's up? Big fat booty bitches. Big fat booty bitches. Testing 1, 2, 3.
I like boobs in California, girls in California, but the boobs in California are the greatest boobs around. Oh, oh.
Well, that's going
The
to
greatest boobs around.
Okay, this is
Oh. Oh. Or whatever. And then so him and Jacqueline go and intimidate the shit out of the guy. So the guy has to give him a part of the earnings because the guy knows that he didn't do anything but write that terrible misogynistic song. And if you play the interactive Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt thing, in it, if you get the ending like I did the first time where Jacqueline accidentally completely ends the Me Too movement
Oh.
because she admits she lied about something, and then this guy's like, what? Women lie? Guys, she just said women lie. And then Boobs in California starts playing, and all of these men come out and start just being so vulgar and sexually assaulting everyone. And
God.
it's hysterical for all the wrong reasons, you know what I mean?
No, I got you.
If you get that ending, that song comes back and plays. Because it's the worst song ever.
Man, I gotta watch 30 Rock. Oh, wait, no, sorry, that was Kimmy Schmidt, right?
Yeah, but
Ugh.
you should watch 30 Rock too because, who's that guy? His name is in the show 30 Rock is Kenneth Parcells. And he's this really sweet, he always plays kind of like the sweet, super Christian guy, he's got, Ned Flanders in real life.
He's got a nice,
Christian Midwesterner voice. He has a Georgia accent, actually. It's Georgia.
Yeah. No, I was telling you, my old GM at the restaurant I worked at before all this happened looked almost just like him and was also, very much about getting along and, having wholesome people.
I love people like that because they're just hilariously delightful. It's funny in a sweet, absolutely positive, don't mean anything bad by it way. You're just I wish I could be that sunny.
Yeah, just really about getting along with people and having a good time. It was him and his wife that I had bumped into at the DMV that had that super old school, those beautiful 70s vans.
I want one of those so bad, and my sister's like, why? She said, why? And I was like, because they're cute. And she was like, but it's old. And I was like, but that's why. I want to have a vintage car, but yeah, the maintenance would be hard because I don't know anything about cars, and I think I need to learn more about them before I get myself into something like that.
I feel that. I don't know jack shit about cars other than how to maybe change a tire.
Yeah, I here's the thing. I know how to change a tire, but both times I've had a flat, I've had to call my dad or somebody else to come change it because I'm too weak to get the freaking crank going to pop up the car. So, or to even screw off the bolts. I'm just a pathetic little noodle arm. That's what they used to call me in high school in volleyball. One of the coaches would be like, noodle arms! Jeez, I know I got long arms and I'm gangly, but way to make me feel insecure about it, dude.
I mean, everyone's gangly at that age, or the exact opposite.
I feel like everybody else was short, waiting for growth spurt, and I'm over there looking like the Jolly Green Giant, except I'm not ripped. I'm noodles.
Well, it's not fair for girls because they hit their growth spurts way earlier, and a lot of times, that's in a time when we're all sort of unsure about ourselves and how to
Oh, I'd always been taller than everybody though.
Yeah,
even
I wasn't
from kindergarten on. I was the tallest kid in the class, just being a tall girl and tall at an early age.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have that until about the 8th grade. I remember I used to be shorter than literally fucking everybody, and then all of a sudden I just I shot up, and I still just been very, very slowly growing with time.
Dang.
Probably stopped around now.
See,
Funny
I have,
that.
like, if I line up all of my elementary school pictures, kindergarten through 8th grade, I am in the back row of every photo, and I'm the only girl in the back row. Other than 5th grade, we had another girl who came in, and she was an inch or two taller than me, and I loved that, because I was like, finally, I'm not the only one.
Yeah. All the tall girls in my school growing up always ended up doing basketball or like volleyball,
Oh,
track.
being a tall girl, I get asked that all the time. Like, you play ball? You play sports? And I'm like, no, I hate them. And people are always like, what? And I'm like, okay, I'm tall, but I'm not coordinated. Two separate things.
No, I 100% agree. That's a real big reoccurring theme in the anime I've been watching with Lucas a lot recently. It's about boys playing volleyball, which I never thought that I would be interested in whatsoever, but it's weirdly hype for being about boys.
Have you watched Real Men's Volleyball?
I haven't, no.
I would love to see Real Men's Volleyball live because it's insane. The plays, and volleyball is the one sport I played that I did really enjoy because being a tall girl, I was good at it because I was a blocker, so I can just stand at the net, do a little hop, and bam, rejected. And so seeing these dudes, it'll be rejection, they'll pop it back up, get it back over, rejection, back, bam, bam, bam. It's insane.
Like, it gets to the point where it's not so much just about getting around the blocks as it is hitting the ball off of the person's hand, which is called a wipe, to where you, like, knock it to the side or over. It'll, like, go... Basically, you want to hit it to where it knocks off of the block's hands and it goes out from there. And since they were the last people to touch the ball, it's your point.
Right.
No, dude, I've learned so much about volleyball.
Just from that anime?
From this show. Oh my god.
What's it? Do you know the name of it?
It's a Haikyuu.
Haikyuu.
It's one of the many ones where there's a main character who's like really short and has orange hair. But the reason I bring it up is that is a huge reoccurring theme because the main character fucking loves volleyball and has wanted to do that forever because they like really idolized a volleyball player. But the thing is, he's like 5'3", and volleyball is so much, it is like pushed in the direction kind of the same way basketball is, where like taller players just perform better.
Yeah.
Just because like that height advantage, like it means so much above a net.
Well, but I will say short players are incredibly useful and wanted in volleyball as well because back row positions, the shorter they are, the more nimble and quickly they can get.
Yeah.
And being a libero, like we had a libero and she was like, I want to say she was under 5 foot.
Oh yeah, their libero on their team is also really short as well.
And that was why she was so good at it, is because she could get places so much quicker than someone like me can, where I got a lot of body to move one way.
Oh yeah. No, his whole thing is like him and the other dude, the setter, who just sets up balls in like a way that like no one could ever get to them in time, but they're always in like the perfect spot to get around the block. And like they hated each other going into it because main character's first game that he ever actually had, he didn't have like a team in middle school, so it was like his first chance to play. He was up against the other guy on his team, and he was a huge fucking dickhead and was so full of himself, and they like had a fucking moment. It was very gay. And they challenged each other, but then of course when they got to high school, turns out they both showed up to the same school wanting to be on the same volleyball team, and they were pretty much forced to get along if they both wanted to join. And because of how they work, they're like perfect for each other, because one boy, faster than light, can get anywhere as fast as he wants to go and can run with almost infinite stamina, and the other guy is a fucking like prodigy genius, just sets the ball where it needs to go, and because main boy's so fast, he can actually like get to that. It's so incredibly gay. So I understand like why there is so much of the fan base that is so, I guess, shippy with a lot of the characters. I mean, that's a pretty common thing with a lot of like really popular anime anyway. I mean, we're all still locked in our houses, I guess. Not really much else going on.
Yeah.
Recently.
Although our city did recently start requiring people to wear masks, so it's looking up here.
It's a step forward.
Yeah.
It hasn't been super bad here in Arkansas, but I mean, Fayetteville is one of the few places where there have been a lot of cases, just because it's a college town. There's a lot going on here.
Right. But, I'm glad to see the powers that be are trying to take responsibility, and that's good.
Hopefully we can see more of that going forward.
Thanks for helping me remove my room, by the way. This has been a
yeah.
way better layout. Like, I've just been feeling it. Like, I can hang, like, because I've been, like, doing stuff in my room when I'm online.
I'm really glad that, like, I got to do that, too.
Right, because your bed is huge.
Yeah!
It's the bed frame.
Yeah,
because I don't have a bed frame.
Dude, it's supposed to be taller, by the way, but we actually took the things out because it was, like, I had to climb into my own bed. As a 6-foot person.
Oh my god.
It was ridiculous. And my parents were like, why? And I'm like, because I don't want to feel like some fucking like bougie asshole prince.
And they're like, but why? Because me
know.
too.
I mean, fucking you say that. Your bed is currently sitting on the floor.
Well, I'm a bougie bohemian princess, but like, I'm balling on a budget, so there's no real bouginess.
Okay, fair.
Other than the multiple $10 Amazon tapestries.
You know, I would actually, I think in the next place I stay in, I would actually really like to put my bed on the floor if I can get like a nice enough mattress. Like this is nice, and I also like
Bruh, I got this at Sears while Sears was closing. Like, we ordered it online.
Fuck.
Just like randomly looking for like just a solid memory foam mattress. Something cheap, because otherwise my parents were gonna make me take my bed from home, and I had a twin bed, and I was like, I'm an adult woman. I would not like to sleep in a twin bed. And my mom was like, and I was like, do you want me to elaborate? And she was like, please don't.
Yeah, I don't know. I've always had a weird thing with beds. Like, I've dealt with insomnia from like a really, really early age. So my bed and sleeping have always been a problem and also an experiment. I have gone through a lot of mattresses, and I've also I remember my parents also got like this really, really, it's like a little, you know, the bed cover that goes under the fitted sheet. Like they got one that was like fleece and stuff, and like the mattress itself was like super, super like soft, which I mean, wow, like honestly, they kind of went above and beyond on that, and I like really have to respect that, because I mean, like that's a really big problem that I dealt with growing up. But I actually have to say it ended up being really counterintuitive. You haven't like been to Mountain Home or like to my like old like house, but that bed, a lot of my friends thought it was really comfy, but like I actually straight up, that bed gave me anxiety because it was so soft that you would just sink into it, and I didn't feel like I can fucking move in my bed while I was trying to it was
The quicksand bed.
like, honestly, yeah. Like, I mean,
like, like the bed in Nightmare on Elm Street that eats Johnny Depp.
Yeah, that one. I haven't seen that, but
that's gonna make you feel some childhood trauma.
Oh, I bet. I should watch that sometime.
There's also another Nightmare on Elm Street where the kid has a water bed, and when his mom comes in to find him, she can't find him, and she rips the sheets off the bed, and he's under the water bed. Because in his dream, there was like the girl from his sexy Sports Illustrated poster was in the water bed, and she was like, you know, like, come in here or whatever. And then, Freddy chops him up to bits, and his mom comes in, and there's her chopped up son in the water bed, which is impressive. Like, how did you reseal that? Only Freddy Krueger, you know?
You know, he makes...
Freddy Krueger and Mr. Clean. Keep it real.
You know what they say about him? He makes dreams come true. Oh, what was I saying? Oh, honestly, like, the bed, like, it almost was like a water bed. Like, if it were an actual just regular-ass bed. But then, instead of, like, making a bunch of sloshy noises if you moved around in it, because the frame was so, I guess, probably installed improperly? No, like, legitimately, like, the slightest movement at all, like, it would creak like a motherfucker. And my mom, a lot of the times, would sleep, like, in the basement, like, underneath me. So, like, when I was trying to sleep at night, she thought I was doing, like, jumping jacks in my room while I was just, like, shifting around. It was that bad. I tell you what, it was really, really hard to have girls over as well.
Oh, maybe they did that on purpose. They did.
They did. But joke's on them because it annoyed the shit out of them.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, so I have another great trash reality TV show for you guys. You guys know how I feel. We've done Kid Nation. We've talked Doomsday Preppers.
I know how you feel. Aubrey, what are we talking about?
We're talking about 90 Day Fiance and all its spinoffs. I have spent the last week and a half watching multiple seasons. I've watched multiple full seasons and a couple bits and pieces of some other ones, just to get some information.
And I have to be completely honest, I've been there for most of it too.
Yes, I've
Willingly.
been streaming it to a couple of my friends just because it's a great group watch. It's a great group watch drinking as well. There's multiple drinking games online for it. And TLC does a great job with their programming. I mean, I was a big Toddlers and Tiaras fan. I watched Here Comes Honey Boo Boo. They did a series on the conjoined twins once. I mean, they really know how to get me. They know how to get me.
You know, I'll take it over the Property Brothers or the Tiny House Show.
Yeah, no, can't stand those Property Brothers. They just give me the creeps.
Listen, man,
it's in their eyes.
Yeah, you know that, and then also just I grew up around construction sites my entire life, and I just I'm full. I'm pretty full. I'm full.
I'm good.
I'm fucking stuffed over here, brother.
So, I've been mostly watching the main 90 Day Fiance show and then 90 Day Fiance before the 90 days. But there's also 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After, which follows the couples after they've been married. And I believe there's one more, but I can't remember what it would be. But I've enjoyed Before the 90 Days more than I've enjoyed 90 Day Fiance, because Before the 90 Days really focuses on the Americans going to visit the foreigners abroad and them dealing with, like, the culture shock of being in the Philippines or Nicaragua or, Morocco, Nigeria.
We saw Haiti as well.
Yes, Haiti as well.
Beautiful place, I gotta say.
And that's why I enjoy that one a little bit more, because the shots they get of the cities and where they're at between is just, I mean, it's way more interesting than seeing these rural towns in America.
Yeah, it's jaw-dropping.
But apart from all the wonderful positive things I'm saying, it's also great to watch some of these people and they're clearly very unhealthy relationships or clear hang-ups they need to get over before they're getting married, you know?
And, you know, like, I get where a lot of people come from, where, like, it's weird to think about, like, watching people or getting enjoyment out of watching people, like, having a bad time. But there is that bit of catharsis in all of us. I mean, it's part of human nature, but, like, even coming from the person that I am, the reason that I generally don't like that kind of television is because I tend to empathize too hard with the people that are in it and what's going on. Like, it hurts sometimes for me to, like, watch some of the dumb, like, drama shit that happens in, like, Big Brother or some of those other shows like that. But I don't know. There's just something so captivating about 90 Day Fiance. People do dumb things whenever they are in love.
Oh, absolutely, no question.
And we've all been there.
We've all done absolutely stupid things for love. And everybody also has a different idea of what they want from love and marriage and stuff. And the more I watch, the more I get wrapped up in it, and I actually care and want them to work out, regardless. Like, it's like, I want these people to work through their issues and find what they want.
And, you know, I think one thing, on a lot of reality TV shows, especially ones like Big Brother or Survivor or other ones like that, where, like, it's a lot about, like, the face value and, like, the talking. Like, there is, like, a lot of times there is almost, like, an air of, I wouldn't say, like, just fakeness, but, like, there's just, like, something, it doesn't feel like you're quite seeing these people for who they really are.
Right,
you're almost
and
seeing,
this
like,
feels so much more genuine.
Well, yeah, because it's such a
it's
personal...
their daily life.
Yeah, it's such, like, a personal part of their being, like, their personal romantic relationship, which you are seeing who these people are as they are. Like, for a lot of times, like, why I don't really feel as bad watching it is because the people that kind of get shit on are the people that, like, show that they're...
Ignored serious red flags.
Yeah, well, ignore serious red flags where they're just not good people.
Yeah, like, they're not in it for the right reasons, and you're like, well, you don't deserve happiness and true love if you're not gonna be a genuine person and be marrying somebody for the right reasons, you know?
You know, it's almost just like a tableau of case studies.
Yeah, no, really, yeah. And there's actually been a lot of couples from it that are still together to this day and have really lasting relationships and now have children. It's incredible. We just finished watching the first season, and all of the couples from the first season are still together, and I'm pretty sure all of the couples have kids, but
Makes sense.
could be wrong. I'm pretty sure they all have kids, though.
Well, a lot of them were older, so, I mean, unless they were just not interested in having kids. Or, I mean, a lot of them had kids beforehand, too.
Oh, yes, that's true. And I figured out that more of the couples in the first season had met in person in these home countries, whether it was like one guy met the girl on a Mormon mission trip to her home village in Brazil. Another guy met the Colombian girl while he was on vacation in Colombia. And the third one, how did they meet? The third one, they met online, but they met on a site where he was trying to learn Russian and she was trying to learn English, and so they were each other's like tutors.
Yeah.
And they fell in love doing that, which was really, really interesting.
So wholesome. It made me so sad whenever his mom was just like the worst person ever.
Oh yeah, she literally said, why can't you find someone in Russia? I mean, she meant it like, I mean, you're pretty and you're nice, so why doesn't anyone there like you? But it came off like, I don't want you to marry my son.
Well, it was just they were at the bachelorette party.
Oh
It
yeah,
was just,
they
like,
also
the
took her
worst.
to like a beer hall for her bachelorette party, and I was like, girl, no, take her to like a male strip club or somewhere more fun and lighthearted than a beer hall where you're all just gonna sit there in silence and sip disgusting American beer.
Especially whenever she was already like kind of uncomfortable with like him having a bachelor party himself, which, I mean, having an eye like about how other cultures like do marriage and shit, like I kind of completely understand. Like the idea of a bachelor or bachelorette party is really strange.
Yeah. No, a lot of the women from other countries seem to have a problem with the males having a bachelor party, and I kind of understand it. And it seems like a lot of the men understand why they're uncomfortable too. Like, they don't want a stripper there, but their friends are all gung-ho for it, and like...
Yeah, it always ends up being this way of like, oh, I mean, it's not like I can stop my friends from doing it.
And it's like, yes, you can. You can literally tell your friends, don't do it. We're not doing that.
I don't know.
It's like, you gotta have a backbone sometime, dude.
These straight boys aren't okay with being embarrassed in front of their friends.
Yeah, I feel like bachelor parties are probably a hyper-masculine tradition. I'm curious... I'm gonna look this up. What the history? Where does bachelor party come from?
Like I have no fucking clue. Oh, tell us.
The bachelor party, also known as a stag night or stag weekend, maybe stag party, is a party held for the man who is shortly to enter marriage. A stag night is usually planned by the groomsmen, occasionally with the assistance of the bachelor party planning company. Okay, so I guess other groomsmen or friends would be what that means. The bachelor party dates back as early to 5th century BC. The ancient Spartans celebrated the groom's last night as a single man, in which they held a dinner and made toasts on his behalf. Wow, so the Spartans didn't involve strippers at all. They were just like, let's celebrate this man.
Yeah, well,
becoming even more of a man.
Well, I mean, they're gloryful, and I mean, like, relationships were a big thing. Hey, I mean, like,
I just love the idea of all these Spartan men going out and celebrating their bro.
Yeah.
Like, that's so wholesome. And you don't think of the Spartans as being a wholesome people.
Well, hey, like, they're just as much about partying as they are about domination.
In 1896, Herbert Barney Steele, a grandson of P.T. Barnum, threw a stag party known as the Awful Sealy Dinner for his brother at the restaurant Sherry's in New York City. The party had a dancer nicknamed Little Egypt, who allegedly danced naked in deserts. Okay, that's kind of a racist nickname, but it's 1896, so we'll let it slide for now. The party was dissolved in the early morning by an officer. Oh, my goodness, this is a hard read. Afterwards, the Seeley family brought the police officer to the police board trial for conduct unbecoming of an officer of the law. At the time, that incident brought light to the behind closed doors matters with bachelor parties.
What?
So, I guess 1896 is the first recorded time, at least legally, of a bachelor party getting out of hand with a stripper being there, of sorts, because she's dancing naked, assumedly.
Okay. Oh yeah, the variation. See, I'm kind of surprised that's really all there is to say about that, like on the wiki page even.
Yeah, and since he's the grandson of P.T. Barnum, Phineas Taylor Barnum, the American showman, politician, and businessman known for Barnum and Bailey circuses, which, if you're in your 20s, you probably went to a Barnum and Bailey circus at some point in your life.
Oh god, yeah,
I went
I'm
to
sure.
at least like 5. I loved going to the circus.
See, I really loved the circus up until like I was like the age of 9, and then all of a sudden like something clicked in my brain where I went, "Oh wait, clowns are actually like pretty fucking weird and creepy," and then I just never wanted to go to the circus ever again.
One of the guys from Jackass was a clown for Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey.
Huh.
Like, he went through clown college. I watched a video because it was about him struggling with alcoholism.
Okay.
And his sister was trying to figure out a way for him to go to college for free, and she found Ringling Brothers Clown College, and if
Sure.
you could get in, it was free. And he was already doing stunts and stuff.
Hey, I mean, considering the kind of stuff that they did on there, I'm sure like it was pretty natural.
Yeah.
Like the Daredevil-esque.
It's Steve-O, yes.
Oh,
Steve-O.
fuck. Yeah, of course. Yeah,
And,
of course it's Steve-O.
He did it. He made it, and he was a clown for a long time, but he didn't get signed by them, but he worked for other circuses. He worked on like a cruise ship for a long time, but he was talking about his battle with alcoholism and how like he apparently was broke. That at the time Jackass became like a big smash hit, he had no money because of his addictions and was totally out of control.
Yeah.
And it's really good to see that he's come a long way now.
For
so
sure.
it's definitely worth a watch, watching Steve-O's YouTube videos now.
It's definitely been very interesting to see how he's grown and changed as a person, like
Matured
post.
and like healed.
Yeah, for sure. Jackass was such a strange for like that was like such a 2000s phenomena. Like
Yeah.
back in like the height of like America's Funniest Home Videos and shit like that. Like I no wonder that those 3 movies. Was it only 3 movies? I can't remember how much they made.
How many Jackass movies?
Yeah.
First thing, which members of Jackass are dead? Wow.
Yeah.
There's 3, and the 4th one is allegedly coming? No, there's 4 because they consider Jackass Presents Bad Grandpa to be Jackass 4.
Okay.
So-
Gotcha.
But a 4th Jackass is going to be released in 2020, like an actual Jackass 4.
Wild. I wonder.
Oh, 2021, actually. March 5th, 2021, Jackass 4 will hit theaters. Theaters?
Theaters?
People are gonna watch that? In a theater?
We as a society have moved back to more towards, you know, like R-rated films in movie theaters and stuff like that. And
yeah, but like, I feel like Jackass has never been an in-theater movie. Like, it's something you
for
watch
sure.
at home with your friends.
It's very indie film.
Because
for
it's
sure.
like, yeah, very indie film, lots of footage, skit, kind of slapstick all together.
Anytime I think of that, I just can't get just the horrible image out of my head of the time that they made the very, very overweight man run on a treadmill in a bodysuit, and like they funneled all the sweat that came off of him into another dude's like mouth. It was awful. And I hate that that's the first thing that I have to think of anytime that name gets brought up. My parents scarred me with those movies when I was too young, I feel.
I think the first Jackass clip I remember seeing was them hitting each other in the crotch in some way.
Oh, of course.
Something like that. Or no. It might have been the one where they electrocute their balls or something.
Yeah, okay.
Something like that. And I just remember being like, what? Why? And my mom's like, yeah, I don't know why people watch this. And then now that I'm older, I understand why people watch this.
Yeah. I mean, oh my god.
This is where I would go if we had any, but we don't. So for now, this will have to do. Please enjoy the rest of the episode.
What are we talking about?
You know, I don't fucking know. But I could talk about the thing that I decided to bring in today.
For sure.
This is part of a new segment that I'm making just because this is probably going to happen every single time that I bring in a topic. So just learn along with me here as I today really wanted to look up the biology of thorns.
So wait, is the segment called Learn Along With Me here?
No, just like learn along with me. I feel like the here's a little...
Learn along with me. Ooh.
Because we're stupid. So actually looking it up, the Wikipedia page for it's not just thorns, but like thorns, spines, and prickles are apparently all part of the same like
Family of...
well here
what are they considered?
in plant morphology, thorns, pines, and prickles, and in general, spinaceae structures.
So that's what they are, spinaceae structures? Is that what they would be, their category?
I believe, yes, or also sometimes called spinaceae teeth or spinaceae apical processes, are hard, rigid extensions or modifications of leaves, roots, stems, or buds with sharp, stiff ends, and generally serve the same function, physically deterring animals from eating and, getting in on that planty goodness.
Yeah.
I feel like it is a part of just a phenomena, like especially with like plant flora, this phenomena with nature that like it comes up with its own answers to deal with problems.
It's got its own defense mechanisms.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I know that like there's like a genus part to it, but at the same time, like in the areas like that these plants like grow up in, like it's wild. Like even today, seeing this, and yes, I may have been thinking about this whenever I was pulling the weeds in my front lawn, but it's funny that the kind of stuff that you see grow, the kind of stuff that like grows in our like plant places, like where we try to grow plants, where like weeds will find themselves, like they're the sorts of things where you can't just like pull out with your hands. That's how they get dealt with, like from humans, like trying to get rid of them and dispose of them by pulling them out. That's why we make gloves. And honestly, those fuckers still like. I feel like those thorns are getting so long at this point that like they still poke me through the gloves anyway. I don't know, like there's just something about that. It's not the only thing. Like I guess with the Venus flytraps and what are those, the really long, they're like the ones that have like the little pool of like sugary water to trap flies in. What are those called?
I don't know.
Maybe I can find it on here.
The plant produces its own like sugary water?
I'll just bulb plant that traps flies. Well, no, not a Venus flytrap. What should I name my Venus flytrap? What can I feed my Venus flytrap? I thought the idea is that
you should feed your Venus flytrap only red vines. That's good advice.
Yes, I agree. As much as pitcher plant. That's what they're called, pitcher plants.
We are not sponsored or affiliated with Red Vines in any way.
But we'd like to be. What's up, Red Vines?
Please, email us. Text, fax.
Please fax me.
We're here, Red Vines, and we want you.
Here we go.
Pitcher plant.
Or Nepenthes distillari? No? You want to take a shot at that?
Nepothesis distillatoria? Maybe?
Better than mine.
We're learning.
Okay, there are different versions. Oh no. Okay, no. This is a diagram. Sorry.
Oh.
They have honey glands to attract insects to the surface, and then digestive fluids in like the inside. Oh yeah, in a pocket-like depression in the epidermis, and it opens downwards. The term pitcher plant generally refers to members of those families, but similar pitfall traps are employed by. Oh my god! Wow.
Pitfall traps?
Yeah. There are, wow, I did not realize how intense some of these like flora names are.
Yeah.
I don't think I could actually pronounce a single one of these, but they end with the CEAE. All of them. Oof. Interesting. But it contains a single genus.
They don't teach you how to pronounce this stuff in university.
Yeah.
Or college.
I learned a little bit of that sort of stuff in entomology, but it was strictly, we focused on nothing but the arthropods. So and honestly, like, I kind of still didn't get it afterwards. Like, I don't feel like they really spend a whole lot of time on it. Like,
General science courses aren't good about they're just trying to cram as much in as quickly as possible because I know most of us are just here for the credit.
Well, yeah, and then, like, the teacher they just want to get to the stuff that they want to talk about,
Right.
I feel. Like, they'll spend, like, the second half of the whole semester just, like, talking about what their specific field is.
I like
but...
crickets, so we're only going to talk about crickets for 3 months.
Oh my god, my TA did a lot of stuff with, like, honeybees and stuff, and she talked about bees so fucking much, and I honestly, I loved it. Honestly, it was great to see how passionate she was about bees, because you know what? More people need to be passionate about bees.
I'm terrified of bees and wasps because I don't want to get stung. It hurts, okay? Don't come at me. We all don't like being stung.
No,
But at the same time, I don't want to kill them because we need the bees. And also, we can't kill wasps because if you kill a wasp, they emit pheromones that cause other wasps to come. It's like a defense mechanism to avenge their corpse. Isn't that terrifying?
I mean, it sounds about right. Those things are heinous. Well, and that's the thing, like, probably the only thing I remember learning from that lab I took was a lot of, like, the bees that are natural to our continents, like, usually they are not aggressive and will not try to attack you unless you invade on their space or, like, act aggressively at them or, like, show them any signs of fear. Because, I mean, like, you know, we are also creatures. We put off, like, body hormones that, like, the animals pick up.
Right. I just feel like as a girl with brightly colored hair who also wears perfume, bees are unusually attracted to me.
Oh, I bet.
Because they think I'm a flower, and I don't appreciate that.
No,
but
I bet.
I understand that I am confusing them.
But
I'm sorry, bees.
Sorry, bees. I feel for you. I had a bright yellow shirt that I used to wear, like, almost every day when I was in middle school, and I had a lot of that too. The wild thing I learned that, like, most more, like, aggressive bees are an invasive species that were actually, like, brought to America a long time ago. Like, a lot of the ones you'll see, you know, like, killer bees or, like,
I keep seeing murder hornets online, but I don't know what the deal with that is. I'm too afraid to read into it. I don't want to know.
I don't think I know about murder hornets, but I believe those are either an extension of or are part of that invasive species. I don't know, it's wild. Bees get a bad rap. I mean, I'm probably not anymore, but when I was a kid, like, man, people fucking hated bees. And that's not okay. But I've given up on looking at that wiki page for the pitcher plant because it is just scientific flora jargon that I cannot decipher, so I'll just describe it instead. What's so wild about these plants, like, they'll just sit there, and I showed you, it's like a little bucket with a little lid on the top that's, like, flapped open. What'll happen is, like, they have, you know, that sweet scented smell on, like, the lip where it's still open at the top, and it'll, like, attract flies or, like, some other, mostly flies, creatures like that, like insects that are after like sweet things. Mm-hmm. And they'll fly there and land there, but the makeup of their tissue is specifically designed to where the fly's little, like, hand stickers, they just slip and fall. Like, they get no traction on the walls of this plant. It's wild. But how it works is that whenever they step down, they cannot land properly, and they just slip and fall into the belly of the plant where they have, like, their digestive acids, and of course after that the wings get wet, and, like, the way that it's made, they can't crawl up it, and they just, like, slap that little lid close.
Like a little trapdoor spider.
Oh yeah.
But a plant.
But a plant. Plants are fucking wild, dude.
So, did a quick Google of murder hornets, and Science News said more murder hornets are turning up, and here's what you need to know. There are 2 new specimens of the Asian giant hornet that have turned up in the Pacific Northwest. So, apparently the invasive species made it through the winter, despite efforts to stamp out the menace to North America's honeybees. So, the reason we're scared of murder hornets is because they're bad for the bees. Okay, so... It gets its name because it nabs honeybees, bites off the bee's head, and then carries it home and then uses it to feed the young.
What?
Yeah.
It's like a hawk.
And raiding parties of several dozen Asian giant hornets, or murder hornets, can kill whole hives containing thousands of bees in just hours.
That's intense.
These murder hornets are so rude. They have no manners, and we're not going to allow that.
Do you think that their big game is actually us in the long con? Like,
I mean,
do you think...
this sounds like, in B movie when it's inside the hive and it's like a little town, but murder hornets, they just have like a crazy dictatorship in there.
Oh.
It's like North Korea.
Is it like North Korea?
Yes. That's the murder hornets are like, they have a game plan. They are just, it's scary.
I don't know, and that's why I wonder, like, what their like end goal is, because like, what if they're taking out all the bees because they know that, like, if there are no bees, then like that fucks us over.
Yeah, so really they could be our biggest enemy.
Dun dun dun. We got to gear up against murder hornets, guys. They're gonna take us all.
Yeah.
We need to all come together as a worldwide power and just strike down murder hornets where they stand.
So that we can save the bees.
And everybody. Because you know what?
Without bees, we can't exist.
And without us, there'd be no podcasts.
That's true. And honestly, I'm sure that would really break a lot of your hearts.
Yeah. So speaking of which, this is the end of the episode.
That also concludes the segment of Learn Along With Me.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I can already tell that we're not going to learn anything.
You don't know that. Maybe somebody learned something. It wasn't us, but, well, I mean, I feel like I learned something.
Well, I'm glad to hear it, because this brain... Can you hear that?
Oof. That wasn't a good sound, folks.
It's like an empty house with no furnishing.
It's like the attic in Courage. There's just the computer.
Hey. It's like a really acoustic room that weird high school drama friend of yours would always want to like sing in anytime they entered, just because they could hear their own voice echoed back at them. It's like that. We all have that friend.
Oh, I was that friend.
He's up in there. It's where the show tunes come from. But yeah,
We'll talk to you next week, friends. And hopefully we'll have a guest.
You know what? Maybe next time we'll find out what we're talking about.
Probably not, though.
Okay, I'll go.
It's like spare him, like shoot him, strangle him, beat the shit out of him. And I did all of them before we decided, because I was like, listen, we know what the real answer, Kimmy, is. She's going to let him go. Like,
Yeah.
She needs to let him go. But we wanted to do it. And then literally before it lets you go back to, like, he's like, really? You kill me all three ways? Even if you're an ugly girl, that's still really mean. And I was like, hey,